Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight another class in the series of classes on Pisces ascendant, Jupiter and the different signs. Tonight we'll be doing Jupiter in Virgo, which normally falls in the 7th house. And Jupiter in Virgo is what's considered in detriment. Jupiter doesn't work the best in Virgo. Because Virgo is an analytical sign, and it tends to take the Virgo likes to take things and chop them up to pieces and analyze each piece by itself. The Jupiterian natures try to see the whole picture, whereas they try to put everything together and see the big picture, how every piece works as part of the whole, instead of isolating everything into its own component. And so sometimes if you can use them together, just like in everything, if you can use them well together, then you can have somebody who can analyze and synthesize at the same time. Right? That would be the ideal state in Jupiter and Virgo, is the person could somehow combine the two principles and use and be able to analyze and synthesize together. And that, of course, would depend a lot on the dispositor, where the ruler of Virgo is, which is Mercury. So you'd always look to Mercury, and if there's a good aspect between Mercury and Jupiter, then it would give more of the ability to do this. And especially Jupiter, even in detriment, Jupiter is always, my teacher always used to say, and I've repeated it many times, you worry more about a good Saturn than a debilitated Jupiter, for example. Saturn is always a bad planet for usually anyway. It signifies difficult things. Jupiter signifies it's the planet of great good fortune. So even in even in, like, say, detriment, it's not going to, the harm there is not going to be so much. It's not going to be, it can be, it does things to excess sometimes, or it does, like we always say, Jupiter in Virgo, or any detriment, that person gets a little bit too much on the physical level. Doesn't know how to use the energy on a more higher plane. But as far as success, the Jupiter in Virgo can be very, very successful. I know plenty of people with Jupiter in Virgo and they have a lot of success in their careers and everything. And so it can be a good combination, right? A person's going to be a very good helper, right? Virgo is service with Jupiter there. You have to know, I should talk about that. I haven't talked about this yet in the whole series on Pisces. We haven't done Virgo yet. Pisces and Virgo, you have to know, those are the signs of the healers. Right? Pisces is the natural ruler of the 12th house, the house of suffering, illness, things like that, secret enemies. And the 6th house is also another house of ill health, servitude, and things like that. So the people that got a lot of Pisces and Virgo, they're going to be people that want to help, the helpers of the zodiac, the doctors and things like that. So it's going to give some kind of healing ability in that respect, and it's connected with marriage for the most part, right? Jupiter in Virgo with the Pisces ascendant for the most part will fall in the 7th, sometimes in the 6th, but in the 7th it's marriage. Even with the Jupiter there, sometimes it can indicate more than one marriage, because Virgo and Pisces are both mutable signs. But I think it's pretty good for marriage, because again, it's connected. Remember, Jupiter with a Pisces ascendant is connected to the 1st house and the career house, and so the person has a career connection with their partner, and so it has possibilities. So anyway, Jupiter in a Virgo sign is going to be very intelligent too, because again, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, And Jupiter also is an intelligent sign, right? The mutables are the intelligent signs in the zodiac. They're the mental signs. That's why they're mutable. Mutable can see all different sides to a problem. Then that's the nature of the mind. Right? Sometimes it has a little problem actualizing things because it thinks so much. It sees all the different possibilities. But in itself, it's a deep thinker. Hey, I want to do a chart tonight. A very famous man also. He was a Hollywood director, actually, a very famous movie director. He started out actually as a chemist, and then he had a degree in chemistry, and then he went off into his true love, which was filmmaking. And as you know, chemistry and filmmaking, they're both very Neptunian. Neptune rules over chemicals, drugs. We've talked about this all the time. It's a person gets, hooked on drugs. They have a strong Neptune. And it rules filmmaking, photography, all sorts of things like that. Spying, oil. A person who has strong Neptune could be interested in oil, the oil business even. It rules all these things. Anyway, this is Mr. Frank Capra. He was probably the most famous director in the 30s in Hollywood. Made one hit after the other. And he was, if you look at his chart, you'll see right away that it's an interesting chart, because if you look at it, if you take a quick, I want to do this chart a little bit just because it illustrates a point that I want to make for astrologers, budding astrologers, that we talked a lot about, you want to have planets in angles. Angles give strength. And if you look at his chart, there's almost nothing on the angles, right? Let me take that back. He's got some study. He's got the moon very close to the 10th house cusp, not too bad. But and he's got Neptune also close to the 4th house cusp, but doesn't necessarily give strength, because it's Neptunian, but he's got 2 planets, but still it's not. On a quick look, he's got the ruling planet in detriment, the ruler of the midheaven is in detriment. Right, both being Jupiter and Virgo. The final dispositor of the Jupiter is it's in honor, but it's in a low house, in the 3rd house. So it's not such a strong chart on the surface. So I want to add, there's one point to make, that there's something else that gives strength to a chart. And that's if you look at the aspects, and you see there's a lot of close aspects in the horoscope. So when there's a lot of close aspects in the horoscope, that gives a great motivation, right? You always want to look and see the aspects, there's a conjunction, 60 degrees, 90, 180 degree aspects. You want to look at how tight they are. If the more and more exact the conjunctions are, it gives motivation. And motivation is what pushes the person in life. If the person's got a strong motivation, that's strength. And so in his chart, if you look at his chart, all the planets really are low. Not really low, but some of them. He's got 4 or 5 planets. He's got 7 of the 10 planets low. The only one really strong is the moon there. But if you look at it closely, you'll see he's got first of all, he's got the Neptune exactly square to the ascendant, and exactly opposite the moon. So the Neptune is extraordinarily powerful in his chart. They made him a great film producer, right? The great movie man. He was an expert at understanding what people wanted. He was an idealist, and he could put it on the screen. Right? He had the Neptune exactly opposite the moon, which gives a great imagination. Very, very powerful imagination, very ability to understand what the masses want. The moon signifies the masses. Neptune you can feel what Neptune is the feeling. They're both feeling, feels what the masses want. And he was able to do that. And so that's one thing, right? You see right away that the Neptune is very unusually powerful in the chart. It's probably going to add a certain shyness to him. Square the ascendant, opposite the moon. Very, very imaginative, very creative man. Tremendously creative. If you look at the, again, very intelligent with that Jupiter in Virgo, and the Jupiter in Virgo is exactly square, almost exactly square to the dispositor, Virgo, the moon, Mercury, so which makes him very, a lot of intelligence, a good writer, right? He's got Mercury in honor. In other words, that picks up the Jupiter. The Jupiter is in detriment, but if you let its final dispositor, Mercury is in honor. So that picks him up as he goes along in life, right? He started as a chemist, became a great filmmaker. In other words, when you have a lot of times you have the dispositor of the 1 and 10 in dishonor, so to speak, you would think the person gets pulled down, especially in his chart, it's in the 6th house. You would think it's a very, very weak indication, but because of that Mercury in honor, that sort of picks him up a lot. There's a lot to talk about in this chart. I wish we had more time. He's also got Neptune and Uranus exactly conjunct, opposite the Sun, which is exactly opposite both of them. So it gives him a great sense of responsibility, great ability to take authority. The Sun opposite the Uranus, leader. He was able to take control of things. Excellent, very, very powerful from the point of view of motivation. And so, again, we learn 2 things from this chart. One, to look for the motivation by tight aspects, and then look at the dispositor of the ruling planet. Right? So here you see the ruling planet in detriment, but yet it's and it rules both 1 and 10, and even so, because of that Mercury in honor as the dispositor, right, and that Mercury is conjunct the Sun. Right? So it brought him honor and success and all good things. I thank everybody for listening.